Okay, so we have seen here how do we declare array, how uh, like the declaration of array looks like, what are the different ways that we uh, generate array or declare the array. And then we have also gone through with few of the methods, few of the important methods that we have in array. So once again, I'll just recap. An array in JavaScript is basically a special variable that holds more than one value at a time. It can either be of same data type or can be a mixed data type as well. The declaration, like we have two types of declaration. One is like literal array, which will start with square bracket, which is this one. This is known as literal array. We'll directly declare the variable name, and then you can start in square bracket. So it is called as literal array, which is like this one. And also we have seen like index in array starts from 0. That means this one is stored at index 0, 2 is stored as index 1, and so on. And this will be in a sequential order. So when you select sequential order, which is something like the first will have 0, then we'll have 1, then we'll have 2, and so on. It is not something like 0 and some random value like 5, 10, and so on. It will be in sequential order. The index will be in sequential order, which is like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. We had also seen like how can we get the data using the index. So it is the variable name that you declare, which we have declared array, and then you can start with square bracket and give the index, whatever the index you want to give it, and then this will give you the complete value regarding whatever the index that you have printed that you have given. If you want to print all the value, then you can utilize like for loop. That we'll see just after checking one of a property of array, and we'll see how can we iterate through all the value from an array. We had also seen at the time of looping, but we'll go through it again. Now we've seen like how do we declare empty array. Whenever you just declare square bracket and do not have any value inside that, then it will be considered as an empty array. This one, which is known as a string data type, having a value with string data type, string value. And this is something like a mix of value where we have written like numeric, data type, string, boolean, and so on. So this is also applicable in JavaScript. That means in JavaScript, array says that it is dynamic in nature. So the definition of array, if we go through with, it says that in JavaScript, an array is a special type of variable that can hold more than one value. It's like a container that stores a list of items where each item can be of any data type. It can be either of same data type like numbers, string, objects, or it can be of different data types as well. We've also gone through like it is ordered collection. So item in an array will be in a specific order. As we talked about, we can get the value or get the data from array using index. So this will be in an ordered, which is like index starts from 0 and then it will be in a sequential manner, which is like 0, 1, 2, and so on. Arrays can grow or shrink in size. So whenever we add any data in array, the size will be increased. If we decrease the data or if we delete the data, then size will be decreased automatically. That means array in JavaScript is automatically a dynamic size array. Multiple data type we have gone through, like either it can be of same data type or multiple data type we can store. And also we have like two ways where we can store, like declare the array. One is like array literals that we had seen, which basically you have to give a keyword using either var, let, const, then give the variable name, and you can start with square bracket and provide some of the value that you want to provide. So that is what it is. The whatever these are the things, these are the array that we have declared are literal array, the array declaration in a literal way. Second way is to use by array constructor. So whenever you declare in this way, right? So whenever you declare in this way, like const, you give a keyword, then whatever it comes to your mind for the variable name, you can give over there, and then equals to new array. So this particular things, whatever you see here, right? Array is also known as a constructor function in JavaScript. So this is basically, here we are basically creating an object for array. It is not exactly similar to the class that we have in other programming, but it is acting as a class itself. Okay, and this is how we basically create an object for any class in other programming language. So let's say what happened in Java is, let's say you have declared a class called as, say, A, and whenever you have to create an object for this, so how do we create object is, in the classes you have to give class name, which is A, then give some kind of variable, let's say X, or variable equals to new, and then A with square bracket, A with parenthesis, A with just a method symbol, which is bracket. Okay, so this is how we create an object in any other programming language. This type of declaration of array is also known as constructor. That means we are creating an object for array. We are basically creating an object for array, which is not exactly a class, but it is acting as a class. So it is also known as constructor function. Constructor is also same, where we declared where the constructor used to create an object. So what is constructor in other programming languages? The constructor name will be similar to the class name. Okay, and the constructor declaration will be like, again, you can just declare this, and inside this, whatever the code that you have, you can write like public, and then you can define it constructor over here. With it will be exactly similar to the class name. So here, this array, whatever you see here in terms of declaration as a constructor, it is basically a constructor function. So this is how we declare an array. Here it will be a capital letter. So this is how we declare another way of array, where we had seen there are two ways. One way is either you can directly declare the data over here. It can be again of mixed data type or any other data type. Or the second way is you can keep it empty, and then by using the index, you can store the value. Okay. So these are the two ways where we declare the array in JavaScript. Now we had gone through with few of the methods, which is like push. Whenever we use push method, it will add the element to the end of an array or at the end of an array. So here we had seen we have declared 1, 2, 5, and we are trying to store 6. So whenever you print, the 6 will be appended. That means we can see like here we have 5 value, and now when we add this, the total number of value will become 6. That means it is dynamically changing the length. Here also we can see like the next method that we have used is pop. So pop used to remove the element from from the end of an array. So whatever the last value will be there in an array will be removed by using pop method. Okay. Then we had seen unshift. So what is unshift? Unshift is basically it basically inserts the element at the start of an array. So let's say our array is this, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we are trying to store any value over here in terms of unshift, the first value will be whatever you are trying to store inside the unshift. Okay, so unshift will add add new element or whatever the element you are trying to add in array at the first position. That means 0th index in an array, first position in an array. In the same way, we had also gone through with shift, which basically removes the first element from an array. Okay, so it will remove first element. So difference between push and unshift is push will add the data at the end and it will take a parameter. Unshift will add the data at the starting and will also take a parameter. As I said, a parameter, you can also insert multiple as well. So let's say, so it will also take multiple parameters as well, and you can insert multiple value at one point of time. Difference between pop and shift is pop basically removes the last element and shift will remove the first element. So these were the few of the things that we had declared yesterday and that we had seen and that we had gone through with in the other session. Now see, people says that you can also declare static array in JavaScript. So whenever you give like this, right? Basically in Java, whenever we create an array, we try to give like how many numbers we have to insert in an array. Here also you can do that. If you do this like this kind of things, that means you are saying you are trying to store 3 values. But it is dynamic in nature in JavaScript, so it will keep on extending, like keep on increasing the size as well. So if you can see here, in this way, what we are saying is we are creating an array which can store 3 values. But I'm trying to store here 4 values. Let's store another 4 values. Just like 4, 5, 6, 7, with some other values, 10, 20, 30, 40. But if you try to print this out, you'll see that it is like printing all the other values as well. So 10, 20, 30, 40, again 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is something you can make it, you can create it static, but it will automatically increase the size. So it will not become a static, even though if you give some number over there. Okay. Any doubt over there for these 4 methods?
No problem. Praveen, one thing.
Okay.
One thing. Go to your code. This one only. That Word document itself is there. So here let ARR is equal to new array. So this array is not a class here. Okay?
So this is not a class, not a specific class that we have in other, but this is known as constructor function in array. When we say constructor function, this will be basically acting as a function itself, but not exactly similar to class. In terms of saying, you can say it as a class, but it is not exactly similar to the class.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever we say array, like you see array function, like people gets confused whether this is a class because we are creating an array object, right? So this is not completely, this basically array is not completely a class. This is just an array constructor. That means you can say that you are trying to create an array object.
So in place of this array, we cannot write anything else. Okay, only array we have to write there. Okay.
Yes, yes. Whenever you declare array, you have to write an array itself.
Okay.
Because we are trying to declare array, so we are utilizing. There is one constructor called array in JavaScript, and that is what we are trying to use here.
Okay.
So basically, in other programming language, what is constructor? Constructor is basically a class name itself, right? The same as class name.
Yes.
So here also you can consider in the same way that array is you can consider as a class name, but this is basically a constructor function inside JavaScript.
Okay.
Okay. So this you can say like you are creating an array object.
So Praveen, inside the array, we can declare anything, right?
Inside array, you can declare anything. Yes. But as we have seen here, in terms of literal, it start with square bracket. Whenever you see like whenever we declare a literal array means you can directly declare inside square bracket. Whereas whenever you go for creating an array constructor, like declaring the array using array constructor, then you don't have to use basically square bracket over here. Whenever you use any data, let's say, so whenever you use any data over here, you have to write in this way. This will automatically internally convert it into the square bracket. Okay, so you don't have to declare something like this square bracket over here. This will automatically convert it to a square bracket internally. Okay. Any doubt over here? You can see here this like as well.
No.
Okay. So let's start with some of the methods. Said there is one property which is called as length in array. So let's declare another array which is called as we can give any name. So you can give like my array, and then we are trying to store 1, 5, 6, 7, 9, then some other value. So banana box. Okay, and like 10 point. Okay, so this is an array which we have declared in a literal way. So we have just started square bracket, and we are trying to go with we have declared some of the value inside the array. Now we'll see property called as length, length in array. So what is the use of this? So whenever you use this property, which is like length, this is not a method. This is basically a property. So method, what is meant by method? So method will basically have a symbol called this one. Okay, bracket. You will see with the method, it will have a bracket symbol. Everywhere, wherever you use method, you will see a bracket. Whereas in method, you will in property, you will not see method. Property in the sense it can be any type of variable. It can be a property of like a person. A person is having a different property. He or she can have a name, age. The person can have a gender, and so on. Like in any kind of things, the property can have. So in the same way, length is one of a property for array, which is used for calculating the size of an array. So I've just prepared this document for us itself by going through with all the popular methods that we have in JavaScript for array. So the first one is like length property. Length property basically returns the length of an array. So whenever we use array.length, it will give us array in the sense whatever the array object that we declare. So let's say here we have declared my array. So whenever you use like console.log, let's say we're just trying to print my array dot length. Okay. So if we enter in this way, then it will be considered as a method. We're just trying to write my array dot length. And if you execute this code, you'll see that it will give us a value. You'll see that it will give us a value called as whatever the size of an array here over here is. So you can see it has given a 9. That means we have 9 data that we have stored inside this. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Whereas the index from index here starts from 0 and end with 8 over here. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. The value will be 1, 5, and in count it will be like 9. And even if you count from 0 to 8, it will be total as a 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. If you count till 8, will be considered as like if you count it total will be considered as 8. Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay. So this length property is basically used to calculate the size of an array. Okay. So this here has given us a value as 9. This will be helpful whenever we try to iterate through an array. So let's say, for example, we have this one, and if you want to print one by one, then you have to use indexing system over here, like array 0 and so on, my array of 0 and so on. Like if you want to use index, then you have to go through with square bracket start 0 or 1 or 2 and so on. But how do we get all the value from array, right? So how do we get all the value from this my array? So for that, as we discussed earlier, that whenever we have to get all the values, we have to basically iterate through, because the same operation we have to do, which is like, let's say here, 0 for the first time, 1 for the second time, one index, second index for the third time, and so on. So if you have to do same operation, then there same type of code that will be executed multiple times, we can take the help of loop over here. So let's say, how do we do that? We'll go for loop. And then we have to declare a variable, which is like I, starting with index. The index in array starts with 0. So you have to start here with 0, because you have to get all the value from the array. Now you have to give I, which is less than my array dot length. So this is what the use of length property of an array over here. So this will give you how many, what is the size of an array. So that basically we have to give like less than. If you give equal to, as we have a total of 9 value over here. So if you give equal to, then the 10th time also it will try to iterate and it will throw you an error, because the next value it will not be able to find and it will throw you an error. I'll show you that as well. We can check it out, what kind of value it will provide. So whenever you use this, what you have to do is you have to again use the indexing system, as we have gone through with by just utilizing a hard-coded index, like which is 0, 1, 2, and so on. Now we are saying we are iterating through. So we have declared a variable that I equals to 0. How many times we are going to iterate is, which is like less than the length of the size. Why less than the length of the size? So size is basically 9. So it says that 0 to less than 9, that means 0 to 8 times. That is what the index says, 0 to 8. And then we are incrementing the value every time. And here we are printing by using myArray, the object of the array or the variable name that we have declared. And how do we get the data using index? Is you have to start square bracket and then give the variable that you have declared over here. So this variable will be incremented each and every time. So the first time it will be 0, second time it will be 1, third time 2, and so on. So if you see now, the value that we can see here, it has given us 1, 5, 6, 9. This 9 is coming from this particular one, which is like the length. So 1, 5, 6, 7, 9, and till here. Now let's say if you try to use equal to, what will happen in this case? It iterated basically 9 times, and the index became 8 over here. Index became 8. And for the 8th index, it has printed the value as 10.9. Now the index became 9 as we are incrementing this. So it will check that, okay, I equals to 9. I is less than or equal to 9. That means 9 is less than or equal to 9, which is also true. So it will try to access my array of 9. So it will try to access my array of 9th index. But we basically do not have 9th index over there. We only have 9 number, which is like index start from 0 to 8. We do not have 9th index over here. So in that case, it will give you undefined value over here, because it is saying that, okay, you're trying to access the index, which is larger than the size that you have. So in that case, as I'm unable to find any value, so I'll give you the value as undefined. Okay. So this is what the use of length property. Let's move to the other popular method that we have.
Praveen, if this loop will start from 1, let I is equal to 1, then it will work.
So if you give like loop start from 1, then it will start from the first index, right? So first index and in so right. So this is basically an index that you are trying to give from the array. So as we know, like index in array starts from 0, so you have to initialize with 0. Even though if you give 1, it will give you the last value as undefined, but the first value will not be printed. You can see it had started from 5, and 1 has been skipped because we are not trying to print here the 0th index. Okay, great. So we'll go to the next method that we have. So we have also checked unshift. We also checked pop methods. And we had also gone through with shift. Now the next is splice method. Okay. So what is the use of this splice method? So splice says that it is used to insert and remove element in between the array. Okay. So splice is one of a method which is used to add or remove the element in between the array. It can add or remove either one or multiple elements to by from. So what is meant by this? So splice is a method which says that I'm a method. I'll be able to add your value at any index wherever you want to insert in the array. So let's say we have this array which is called as my array. Now I want to store some of the value just before Bob. That means just before 5th index, I want to add some of the value. Okay. Let's say how it does by using splice method. The method always will start with a lowercase letter. So we can give my array dot splice. And you can see here, this splice will basically, as per the definition of the JavaScript, says that remove element from an array. If necessary, insert new element in their place, and return in the deleted elements. It will take 3 parameters. One is like starting index, the 0-based location in the array from which to start removing an element. It says that I need a first, the first parameter will be the starting index from where either you want to add or you want to remove the value. Okay. Then it says that The second parameter will be how many numbers of element that you want to remove. Okay. And third is, which is an array containing the element that were deleted. So it will basically return the element that have been deleted. Now let's see how it works in general. So what we are saying here is used to insert and remove elements, right? The syntax over here is like this one. So the syntax, if we say, this is the syntax. So it says that array means basically the variable or the object that you declare, declare to declare an array. And then this method dot splice, it is starting index. It's saying how many counts of the element that you want to delete. And then if you want to insert the element, you can insert the element over here by using this one. Okay. So let's say I am saying that from the first index, this is like starting index, start index. From the first index, just like be careful here and then listen properly, like what we are trying to do here in terms of utilizing splice. This is a bit tricky. If you understand it, you'll never forget it again. So it says that splice, this is the starting index. That means I am saying from the first index, remove 4 of the element. Let's say, for example, from the first index, remove 4 of the element. Let's say how many, this is like starting index from where we have to remove the element. How many counts you have to remove is, let's say 4. So what I have given here is start from the index first and then remove 4 elements from an array. Okay. You can basically stop here as well if you want to just delete the value. If you want to just delete the value, let's say, let me print it out and then we can see what the value over here will be. So let's execute the code. I'll explain you one more time. So you can see here what it does. We have utilized splice method. Splice method is used to either add or remove the element. So we are saying here, starting from the first value will be starting index from where it will either add or remove the element. First value is starting array, starting index. So I'm saying like from the first index, second parameter is delete count, means how many number of element that you want to delete from here. Okay. So it says that delete 4 counts over here. Okay. So it is saying that delete 4 elements from after the like, okay. So it is saying that from the starting of first index, delete total number of 4 elements from the array. Okay. So from the starting of first index, which is like starting with number 5, then 6 is second number, 7 is third, and 9 is fourth. So remove these 4 elements. So it says that from the starting of first index, remove total of 4 elements from an array. So these 4s will be removed and other will be printed out. So in the same way, you can see like this is saying 1, Bob, and other things. The 4 number in between have been deleted. Okay. Did you get this?
Yes, Praveen.
Yes, Praveen.
Okay. So now let's say, how do we add elements here? Now we are saying here, okay, let do the same thing. We have not added over here. We are just trying to delete 4 elements from array, starting from first index. Now here we are saying that starting from first index, let me comment it out here, or else it will consider the Bob as first index. So here we are saying that starting from first index, remove 4 element are again our this array became the same things because I've commented out over here. So the array will be same as this one. So here we are saying starting from first index, which is from fifth, remove 4 elements and add, let's say, orange. Let's say some color as pink, red, number as 1. So what we are saying here is starting from first index, remove 4 value, and in place of that, you can add the same 4 value as well, like any of the value that you want to store here. Okay, so that is what in the documentation as well we can see. It is saying like whatever the item that you want to store here, you can store by just giving as a comma separated value. Okay, so getting the point here. So what we are trying to do is from the first index, remove 4 value, and then you can add either 4 value or 5 value, whatever it comes to your mind, or whatever is requirement for whatever the requirement is there. Those many data that we can store, that we can add in the array. So here also we are doing the same thing from the starting of the first. Second parameter that we see is a delete count. And third value from here, whatever you see will be added after deleting from here. So it will not add to the end of the value. Basically, it will add wherever it has deleted the data from. Okay. So if we just execute the code, we just execute the code. Let me. So if you just execute the code, you will see like the value is getting printed in. First value is 1. And then first value is 1. Then 5, 6, 7, and 9 have been deleted from here. Now, whatever the value that we had given, which is like orange, pink, which is like orange, pink, red, and 1, 5, 10. So you can say like orange, pink, red, 1, 5, 10. Bob, banana, false, and 9 came after adding the elements that we were trying to add in the array. Okay, so any confusion over here?
So Praveen, here we have declared like deletion, no? 4 elements will get deleted. So instead of that, can we add this orange, pink and all? Can we
You can
remove
still
4
add.
over here?
You can still do in this way.
Okay.
So,
But in this way also, we need to declare over here 0.
right. You have to give like how many data that you want to delete from here.
Okay.
Okay. Right. I mean, let's try to print it out. What it is giving the value as. So you can see how it is giving like 1 orange, pink, red, 1, 5, 10, and then 5, 6, 7, 9, and this thing like 5, 6, 7, and this thing. Let's you can do in this way as well. So what happened in this way is it will automatically add the value wherever you are trying to store. So you are trying to say like if you do not want to give any other value over here, right? Any
Yes,
other
Praveen.
index, right?
Yes.
You can do that. You can do the same as well. What will happen in this is it will be added uh, over here in terms of uh, whatever the value that you want to add, it will be added over here. So what it considered over here is, well, see, you can see like, though you are not able to give any value over here, it is considered that you are trying to declare orange. Okay. So as we said just a couple of seconds ago, that either you can give over 0, or if you remove this 0, then the first element that you are trying to add will be considered as a deleting count or deleting element.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
So here the comma separated things will be considered as the parameter. It takes 3 parameter, which is like starting index, deleting count, and then the item that you are trying to add. So the first will be considered as starting index, second will be considered as the deleting element, and then from there onwards, everything will be added. So here, as it did not find any kind of orange is available as an index, so it has not gone through with this, and it had just skipped the orange from here, and it did not even add, because it has considered this as an deleting count. Okay, and then you can see like pink, red, 1, 5, 10 have been added after the index first, and then others follows.
So Praveen, if means the deleting index, suppose any integer is there, so that number of element it will delete it. If it is string,
Correct.
that particular element should delete. Okay.
If it is string C, it is saying like deleting count. So it will take as a count. If you give inside a string, that means it will say that, okay, you have not given as a numeric value, so I'll not delete any value over there. But this particular value will also not be added. So let's say you give it as something like this. Okay, we have just given here as 1 in string. So if you declare, this says that deleting count. Count should always be a numeric value, right? It should always be a positive integer. That means you are saying like, I want to delete n number of data from array. But if you're trying to store it as, trying to say it as a string, then what it will consider is as, okay, this deleting count is in string. I do not have any visibility that how many data that we have to delete it from there. So it will just skip this and will not delete any value from there. And whatever it follows will add in the array. So it will always be, the first and second value will always be a positive integer.
Okay.
First says starting index, second says how many number of element that you want to delete.
So if we don't want to delete anything, but we want to add, by that time we have to give there 0. Okay.
Right.
That's it.
Right. So you're saying like delete nothing, delete 0 element. Okay. And then even if you print it now, you can see it is same, like I pink red 1, 5, 10, and I can 5, 6, and so. Okay, I hope it is clear.
Yes, bro.
This was splice, and then there is another method called as slice. So slice is basically used to iterate through an array and print the value. Print basically, okay, so slice basically takes 2 parameters, which is starting index, and second is end index. So whatever the start value you give, it will start from that particular index, and whatever the end index you give, it will go and provide you, like, let's say, for example, let's say you are saying that you would slice method from first to 5. Okay. Let's check with an example what it is doing. So my is dot slice 1 to 5. Okay. And store it in a variable called slice value. Okay, so we are saying that start from the index 1 and go until the 5th value. fifth index, which means it will not iterate through, it will not give you the fifth one, which is like this fifth is will not be added. This will be like the border value, which is like start with first, and then it will go till the fourth index and print you the value. So here in my array, it will start from the first index, which is 5. We'll go to 6, which is second index. We'll go to 7, third index. And we'll go to 9 as a fourth index. So this here, it is saying that we are just traversing from one index to other, like starting index and ending index, but the value will be end index minus 1. So let's say if we try to, I'll explain it again once more. So if you just try to print it out, this value. So if we try to print the, I've added over here this one. Let me comment. So you can say that it is saying starting from the first index, it will just traverse. It will not change anything in the array, but it will just traverse from starting index to the end index and will provide you the value from starting index to end index minus 1. So what is end index is like this index starts with 0. This becomes 1. 6 is 2. 7 is 3. 9 is 4. And fifth index is Bob. So we are saying slice, that means go, you can see the definition, returns a copy of a section of an array for both start and end. A negative index can be used to indicate an offset from the end of an array. That means whenever you give a negative value, it will try to print you the value from ending of the array. For example, -2 refers to the second to the last element of an array. Okay, so it says that the beginning index of the specified portion of an array, and the index start with 0. The end index of the portion of an array, this is exclusive of the element of at the index end. What is meant by that? Exclusive. That means this starting index will be inclusive and ending index that we are trying to give will be exclusive. That means -1, like before this index, all the value will be printed over here using slice method. So slice takes 2 parameter, which is start index and end index. And it will start the printing the value from starting index, go till the end index, but end index will not be printed. -1 of the index will be printed. -1 in the sense end index -1 till that particular value will be printed over here. So we can say 5, 6, 7, and 9. So 5 is exclusive, not inclusive. 1 is inclusive. Okay. Getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say you do not give any value over here. Okay. You do not give any value over here as a second parameter for slice. Let's see what happened in this case. You see, it has considered as an infinite. That means you have not declared any value. So till end of the array will be printed from the first index. If you do not give any value for the second parameter, then from the first parameter, from the first index to the last index, all the value will be printed. In the same way, let's say if you do not give first value, if you do not give first parameter and keep it empty and go to till sixth parameter, till sixth index, right? So what it basically says that you need a like starting index that you have to give. So it do not accept any value over here, which will be empty as a first index. Okay. Whereas second index, you can keep it empty and it will consider your value as an infinite. That means all the elements in the array will be printed out. Okay. So this was slice method. we have gone through splice and we have also gone through slice. So slice example, you can see it returns a new array containing a portion of the original element based on the start index and end index. Okay, I'll share you this document we have prepared for our purpose itself. And let's see one more example which says that in terms of slice, it is saying like you can also give the negative index. Okay, so let's say what happened in terms of negative index whenever we try to. So let's say if you give -1. So what will happen is it will try to print the value from the ending of the array. From the ending of the array, whatever the value will be there, it will keep on printing all those values. So if you just try to print it out, so it says that from the ending, that means this is considered as -1. This value is considered as -1. This is called as -2, -3, -4, and so on. Okay. So last index in an array will be having an index as -1 so that it can reverse travel as well. From here, it will be in a sequential 0, 1, 2. From the last, it will be starting with -1, -2, and so on. Okay, so if you give -1, we have just given one value. So if you give -1, then it will start checking all the value from the last of the array. It is not something that it will reverse print. It will reverse the array, but it will print all the value which is from -1 index to the last index. Okay, let's say if you just give -1 to -5. So what happened here? Did you find anything over here? Like what happened? Why did it print every value over here? So it says that you have to enter the largest value over here in terms of like, let's say -5. And then try to give this one. Okay, so what is this? We did print as a wrong value. Okay, so this says that we have gone in a wrong way. This says that we are just trying to print one value, which is like -1. Whenever you give this kind of things, it will try to print the last value of the array. Okay, so whenever we let's go through once again. So it says that a negative index can be used to indicate an offset from the end. Okay, so whenever you use negative index, it will try to print you that particular value itself, like whatever the negative index is. It is like starting from -1, -2, and so on. So whenever you print in terms of negative index, it will give you the value as well. It will return the just value for the index that we are trying to get it from, but it will not. What it says is you're starting from -1 and then go ahead like -1 and then 0, then 1, 2, 3, and so on. So here after -1, we do not have any value. So this is considered at -1, this is -2, this is -3, and so on. We know that in loop, this will be a sequential, which will be keep on adding 1 to the index, right? So here, what is happening is -1. Then in the next iteration, it has added +1. So -1 + 1 will become a 0. So the index will become 0. But it will not move, to the starting of your array. It will just keep on moving towards this. If there is any value, then it will be printed. If not, then it will not be printed anything. Example, we can see here -5 to -1. -1 is exclusive. -5 is inclusive. So as we say, the last value is considered as -1. This is -2, -3, -4, and -5. So let's say what it is printing in terms of printing the value. So we can see it had started from -5. We are considering right now from the last value of an array. So it's starting from -5. This is -4, -3, -2. And you can say -1 has not been printed over here. Right? So if you, and then if you give like from -5 to the end, then you can say like all the other values will be printed like -5, -4, -3, -2, -1 will always also be printed. That means 10.9 will also be printed. We do not use this negative index most of the time. Most of the time we go for the positive index itself in test automation. We generally do not use most of the time slice method in any of the test automation. Okay. Understood this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Praveen.
Okay. I've given you like few of the examples. You can check it out in this document as well. We have few other methods which I would like to discuss as you have like sort of time. What we can do is I'll provide you this document soon after our class, and then you can go through with this and see like if there is any kind of issues that you have. In next session, I'll try to discuss few more important, which is like sum, then there'll be reduce, map, and then reverse, sorting, values. Few of them I'll again discuss, and then we'll wrap up the session of array. And meanwhile, you people can refer this document so that it will give you the complete idea. See, there are like more than 30 methods available inside an array. And all of the methods are not important. There are only few, like 10 to 15 are important, which we generally use in our day-to-day life of test scripting. So I'll discuss those things as well as I'll provide you the other details as well in this document. You can go through with. And if there will be any doubt in that, I'll be able to clarify. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Praveen.